Hi, I'm Jessica Lombard, proud superintendent of Huntley Community School District 158. Welcome back to another episode of Raider Roundtable. Today, as we round out the culmination of the 24-25 school year, I'm excited to have three very special guests today, three graduates of the class of 2025. So we're going to jump right on in this morning. Today, we have Hannah, Emily, and Victor. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
We want to get to know you a little bit. I got to hear a little bit before we started, but why don't you share with the rest of the Huntley community a little bit about yourselves? Tell us your name. We know that you're graduating, but what are your future plans? And a little bit about what you were involved in while you were here in Huntley. Yeah. Emily, we'll start with you.
Okay. So I've been a part of the district for my whole life. And my goals for my future are actually to be going to attend to Marquette University, as well as being a part of their ROTC program. So then I'll be able to be into the military afterwards, and hopefully my goals of a future is flight nurse. And maybe I'm hoping to join the rowing team too.
Fantastic. Rowing would be something completely new?
Yeah, it's completely new. So I've actually been a part of Huntley's track team since freshman year, and NCSA is making some rule changes. I tried to join their track team, but they're only allowed so many students now.
Sure.
So I was thinking about trying to change into a new sport, and rowing caught my interest.
Fantastic. So you said nursing and maybe later a flight nurse for the military.
Yes.
What kind of, was there a certain experience or a family member or someone that kind of guided you into kind of having a combination both in the military and in the nursing?
Yeah, so for the nursing, honestly, like my whole life, I've just kind of been in like the idea of just wanting to help people. And when I was in, I want to say 6th grade, my cousin joined the Army, and like that just kind of like sparked something. I was like, wow, that's like really cool. I want to actually be helping not just normal civilians, but like people that are in help serving our country. And when I joined Huntley, one of my friends introduced me to this program called Civil Air Patrol. And so throughout Huntley, I've been a part of this military program where I've been able to go to different states, learn about the military. It's kind of like a JROTC, but since our school doesn't have it, it was a different program. I've gotten to do like boot camps, and I've learned just a lot about what it means to be a leader there.
So you're already starting to dabble a little bit.
Yeah.
Great. Well, Marquette is lucky to have you.
Thank you.
Hannah, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay, I've been in the district for 13 years, so my whole entire life. And some athletics and clubs that I was in, I was a part of the girls' swim team, the girls' bowling team. I was in the medical academy. I did Silver Cord, and I was a part of BSU, RAD, and Principal Leadership Council.
So you were really involved, didn't leave anything behind as you had your experiences. And what does the next chapter look like for you?
After graduation, I plan to attend the University of Iowa, and I hope to study medical lab sciences.
Fantastic. And what got you interested in the medical labs in that field?
So my dad actually teaches at 2 universities, and he teaches human anatomy classes. So he's been like my biggest support and helping me like figure out my path and really showing me that medicine is what I want to do.
Great. And I'm sure some of our questions a little bit later will talk about how you got prepared for that. And so a future Hawkeye. So again, I was lucky to have you there.
Thank you.
And Victor, tell us a little bit about you.
My name is Victor. I've been in the district for about 7 years now. I was also, like Emily, in track for the past 3 years. I took the senior year off to kind of relax. But yeah, I'm also the president of the Black Student Union that Hannah had mentioned earlier for the Huntley High School.
You said you were going off to Bradley University.
Yes.
What intrigued you about Bradley?
Bradley, I love how closely knit the community is. It feels like almost like a second high school, but not too much on the, like high school aspect. So I like how close everybody comes to be.
Great. Some of the experiences that you had and you were involved in high school, do you think that you'll try to get involved in some of those organizations at Bradley?
Yes. I would love to. I know they have a Black Student Alliance. I would love to be included in that, see if I can, shed some insight or gain some insight from them. So those are some other things. And also other sports clubs as well. I know I've only done track, but, to kind of take my time to explore other sports.
These are your opportunities, just like you did in high school, to explore. Hannah, had you bowled before when you said you did bowling? Was that something?
This
right?
was my first year.
It was your first year.
Year.
You try those. I encourage you as you move on to those next 4 years to be involved, take opportunities, learn new things, because you're not going to have that chance to do that again. And so hopefully all of the things that you've had here at Huntley High School, you'll be able to utilize in these next 4 years in that chapter. And Bradley is lucky to have you there.
Thank you.
All right, so we got to know a little bit about you, but we'd like to dive into your experiences a little bit. Some of the things, one, just get to know you, but also we love to be able to reflect on the experiences of our students, right? You are the reason that all of us are here, and we shape the experiences best when we know and we hear from you. So there may be some questions that we're asking you to think about what we can do in the future or what advice you might give on. And I want you to make sure that you guys speak your truth. And I think you'll be able to do that for me. So let's start off with an easy one. Do each of you have a special memory that you're like, wow, of my 7 or my 13 years here in the district, this stands out the most to me?
So I've been a part of track for 4 years, but last year was a really big year for us because I'm part of the relay team, so I do sprints. So I'm in like the 4x1, the 4x2, and the 4x4. I was part of the 4x2 the sophomore year, but then I wasn't expecting to join the 4x1. When we got to state, it was such an amazing memory because we were not expecting it, but we ended up becoming state champions. I remember after I passed the baton off to my next person, Kaylee, I saw them finishing up. Vicky was coming in for anchor, and I saw that it was like a tie between the two, but it looked like Vicky was behind. So I looked away thinking, oh shoot, we just lost it. We got second. And then I start hearing all the cheering because I'm like, oh, I thought that other team won. But then my friend Dom, she was jumping, comes over and attacks me. She just kind of jumped. She's like, oh my God, you guys did it. You won. I'm like, what do you mean? I looked at the board and I saw that we got it by like 0.03 milliseconds. And I was like, it was just a big, like crazy memory. And it's the first ever running event that has ever won state.
I remember getting the news from Dr. Beelan to say that, and to be there probably was much more of an experience there. But it's those things, and hearing from you, not that just that excitement of something that you'll take away, but you were talking about your team and how much you were able to accomplish together. So definitely a memory for a lifetime.
I loved that it was a relay and not just an individual, because I got to share it with 3 other girls. And then because we were so excited from that, we were able to then do it again in the 4x2, which was amazing.
Amazing. Yep. You knew that, and that energy just kept on going.
It did.
Thanks for sharing that story with us.
Yeah, of course.
Hannah, how about you?
One of the memories that I think I enjoyed the most was definitely being on the swim team and the bowling team, especially bowling because it was a new experience for me. I had never bowled in my life before. And once I had wrapped out my swim season, I was honestly like, oh my God, I miss being in sports. So I was like, let me try bowling. And I think just being on that team and feeling their excitement and learning like the new cheers, and even for like swimming too, like being able to cheer for my teammates or watching them swim relays or competing myself was just like a thrilling experience.
Now, Hannah, I've been to a few of those meets and tournaments and all of that, and I never realized that bowling, I thought, was just a quiet sport, right? You go out there, it is one of the loudest places to be in, and it just gets that excitement and those things going. Now, I'm going to throw you off on here, but as a bowler, how many balls did you utilize? It amazes me that there's a ball for different things.
So for my teammates, I think my teammates definitely used more than me, but I had 2.
You had 2. See, yeah. Someday you'll have to teach me what are the difference between the planks and the balls and the oil and all of that. So great. Thanks for sharing that with us. Victor, how about you?
A big memory that I have was also being on the track team, the boys track team. It's like almost like having like a big family of like older brothers. They're all so supportive. it was this one night where it was when I got my Athlete of the Meet shirt for the first time. I had PR'd, I think, 4 times in pole vault. So it's not really that easy. I think on that night as well, it ended off pretty bad for me, but the team ended up winning the state conference. So that was pretty nice.
Fantastic. All of you talked about teams and the people. And I think that's one of the special things that we have here in Huntley is the people, and that those memories hopefully stick with you. And some of those friendships last through, eternity as you go forward. Now, the next question, a little bit of a spin-off of that first one. Is there a moment, a class, some experience while you were here at the high school that, or could be earlier, has really shaped and defined you? And some of you talked about a little bit about the why of what you're going into next, but was there a pivotal moment or something that really has helped shape who you are? And we'll start with you, Hannah.
I think definitely the classes that I have taken have shaped me just because I knew I think about freshman year that I wanted to go into medicine, and being able to take the classes that are like medical based and finding out, is this something I really want to do, or is there another path that I want to go down? It was just nice to know about that.
But was there a specific class that really stood out to you, or was a favorite, or really kind of prepared you for that next step?
I think even this year, my EMR class has really prepared me because I'm also a lifeguard. So being able to use the class as like a backup training was nice, and learning some new things that I didn't know that I was never taught like during my lifeguarding career, I think is really cool as well.
Fantastic. Thanks.
All right. So outside of school or the classroom, I'm a pharmacy technician at Walgreens. So I would say that, having that experience behind doctors is really inspiring for me, since I want to be in the medical field as well. It gives me insight on patient care, gives me kind of all the essential needs I would have.
Sure. Getting connected with them. I mean, that's a job that you're doing outside and all of that. Was that anything that the high school helped you connect you with? Were you part of the academy, or was this just, hey, I'm really passionate about this and found that job?
Yes, so I say like a little mix of both. I'm very passionate about medicine, so I was like, why not look for jobs now that, I can get that are evolved around medicine. And then also the medical academy, I think Miss Renee St. Clair, she had sent out something, a spreadsheet with like different career paths that you can do. And I just took interest into that, and so I took the next step forward.
Great. Thanks for sharing. Emily.
Mine is going to go back to track. When I all of middle school, I was a cross country runner, and I honestly despised track. So when I was joining track my freshman year, I was trying to join as like a JV runner just to like stay in shape for cross country. And I was not at all expecting for my coach to be like, hey, you're kind of fast. We're going to put you in some relays on varsity. I was like, oh, really? That's okay. And from that, I have learned so much about hard work and determination. It honestly sparked something in me that I was not expecting to have. I was expecting to just be having an average high school experience, and this has taught me a lot about adversity, and the girls weren't really expecting me on that team either, and so I didn't really get the welcoming or like the family feeling my first few years, and so it's really taught me a lot about making sure that everybody always feels welcome and just like they also belong in this community.
It's interesting how you may be involved in an organization, you may be a member of a team, whether it's you've been it for years and years or your first year on that team. The lessons that you take away from them are so much more than just the participation in that. So thank you for sharing that. Yeah. Victor, you talked a little bit about the medical academy and a little bit about Miss St. Clair, but was there one standout class for you that you've had here in your experience at the high school?
I would say the class AP Psychology. That class is very challenging as is. I've supportive teacher, just a lot of coursework that I have to stay on top of.
Is that Mrs. Phillips?
It is.
She's
Miss Phillips.
fantastic, and I hear wonderful things
She's
about
amazing,
that class.
Very passionate, and I love that from a teacher.
Emily, how about you? A certain class?
So this year I'm a part of AP Psychology as well as Human Anatomy, and those are two of the most different classes you could ever be in. AP Psych, it is assignment after assignment after assignment. If you miss a day, you are going to be behind for a week. And then Human Anatomy, I don't have to go to class unless I'm taking the test. It is very much a scheduled on your own, student oriented. You teach yourself, and unless you have questions, then you can come into class. It was also kind of ironic as they were right after each other too, so I'd be super stressed from psych, and then I would just be like, oh, just go chill after Human Anatomy. But they have taught me a lot about doing my work as well as trying to get my work done on time. Human Anatomy, I was struggling a little bit for a while because I wasn't actually doing my work since it wasn't structured like psych. But they've both taught me in very different ways about what it means to be a student, and I think it will prepare me for college.
And to have that contrast or things.
Right.
And that you're learning a little bit about yourself as to how do I study best? How do I learn best? What might I need to work on with time management or any of those pieces? And so, again, great to learn those experiences before you head off into the real world. You mentioned just the different classes here, and I know it's not one that I had kind of prefaced you on before, but have all of you or any of you taken blended courses? And what was your biggest takeaway by taking a blended course?
Honestly, just do your work when it's assigned. It teaches a lot about time management. In some blended classes, it's they're like very easy assignments too. It's just kind of like a break day. But then other classes like psych, she gives us so much work on blended days that it's more than a normal period would be. I feel like she kind of does it as to her advantage. But then other classes in my zoology class, it would be like a short little worksheet. So honestly, just try to get that work done even before the blended class starts so that then you can have that freedom during that class.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I think for the blended classes, I feel like it kind of what Emily said, it gives you the opportunity to learn about time management because their teachers are counting on you to be completing the assignments and being like, okay, if this class has more than an average day, you need to make sure that you're doing it outside. And if it's just a regular worksheet, then it gives you time to do things for other classes or just do other work to catch up.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would agree with what Emily said at first. Just having to do or giving you the ability to complete the assignment the day before, kind of so that you can have like a free time almost for the same period. Also being on top of your work because it can topple over you all at the same time.
So the blended, you talked about sometimes you want to get ahead so that you have a little bit of a free time here. All of you are involved, whether it's after school with an organization, a sport, a job at different times. So does your blended week look a little bit different for you about getting ahead, or are there times that you're like, I know I have a little bit more time, but because this is going on after school, I may have to push this a little bit later or think ahead? Has provided you with that flexibility a little bit?
Yeah.
Do any of you have any advice for incoming 8th graders? A lot of them are looking, I want to take as many blended classes so I don't have to be in the classroom. Is blended for everyone, and should you pack your whole day with blended?
So what's good about Huntley is that they only let you take so many every year. Freshman year, you can only take one, sophomore year 2, junior year 3, and then senior year 4. Right now, all of my classes are blended, and I have 2 study halls, so there are some days where I don't even have to go to school, which has really been good because then I can take a break. But then also, I can spend a little extra time on some classes, a little less on others. Some people, it is better to stay in the classroom because some people just don't realize that they have assignments. They're just like, I'm off. I don't have to do anything. Whereas, no, there's still an assignment that you have to do. You don't just get a free period to just go wander. And so I think that's kind of good that freshman year they can only take one. So it's kind of like a little step in, like just like putting your feet in the water just to see how it goes. So I do recommend taking that one blended class your freshman year and just see how it is, because also when you are blended, you can still come into class if you don't like it. And then from then on, you can just see what you want to do with your next schedule.
Hannah or Victor, going off to college, it's kind of like a blended class, right? You're not there every day. And I know that not everybody is going to choose that path to go off to a 2-year or 4-year school. Do you have any takeaways for maybe a person who is going to go right into the workforce? What has the blended classes prepared you for just life in general?
I feel like the blended classes have definitely prepared me for like being able to pick my own schedule, or choosing like to do work if I want to do my classes in the morning, and then if I want to like spend my afternoon doing my assignments, or taking a class at night and then doing my assignments like later on. I feel like it's definitely helped me figure out like what kind of learner I am and when the best time for me to study is, and balance out my schedule.
Great.
Yeah, kind of piggybacking off of what Hannah said, you want to find out what works for you the best and what works for your schedule the most. So yeah, I would say working with those blended classes, it can be a hassle, but high school kind of helps prepare you for what type of person you end up being. So
Jump forward a little bit about what lesson have you learned from your time here in Huntley 158 that you're going to carry with you for a lifetime?
A lesson I think I've definitely learned from Huntley is about being a team player, and especially with sports, that has really taught me about being a team player, and how when you're on a team, you learn to count on other players on the team or other people on the team, but you also really learn how to count on yourself and show up for yourself. And I feel like throughout my whole entire time at high school, I was definitely very shy, and I feel like being on the sports teams has definitely taught me like, hey, it's okay to branch out. It's okay to try new things.
a lesson that I think I will take with me for the rest of my life would most definitely being responsible. Being responsible, holding myself accountable for the things that I choose to do, like the courses that I take, things like that. Being able to show that I'm able to do those things. So by the courses that I take, am I able to succeed in them, or what parts do I need help in, and things like that. Just being responsible and being accountable for myself. If I need help, being able to ask for that help. So.
Absolutely. Great. Thank you.
Mine's a little different. So everybody is going through their own problems in their lives. And I've noticed that sometimes that people will snap at you in a negative way, and you just assume immediately, oh, they're mad at me, or what's their problem, or why are they acting like they think they can act like that. But we never actually really realize that people have their own problems, or they might be stressed about something and you just caught them at a bad time. And just to realize, hey, give them the space or ask them what's wrong, because majority of the time they're probably not actually mad at you. I learned this in my psych class. It's just give them the space that they need, and I'm assuming they'll probably just come around at some point in time. If they don't apologize, just talk to them later on, like, hey, what's going on? You good? Because sometimes I walk up to my friends, I'm like, hey, what's going on? They're like, don't talk to me. And I'm like, okay. And you just got to give them the space that they need for that moment, and just don't take it with a grain of salt that you're going to be okay, and your friendship will still be there.
Absolutely. We never know what another person is going through. Even our closest friends, right? We think we might know, but we don't always know those things. And so whether that interaction comes off a little sharp, or a text message or a Snapchat, you think about it one way of just kind of stepping back. So that's a great lesson to carry forward with you. So thank you for that. Hannah, you've just graduated. Tell us a little bit about your experience overall here in Huntley.
I think overall I've had a great experience. Huntley has given me the opportunity to learn about myself. Like I said earlier, I was definitely really shy, and it gave me the opportunity to learn like how to branch out and how to do things. And I know that I can use the experiences that I've had here and take those with me, and I'm just really grateful for that.
Thank you.
I say the motto, be respectful, be responsible, and be involved. I'm forever gonna, yeah, keep that in the back of my head because the decisions I make are mine alone, um, and whether I'm involved or not is mine alone.
We hear it over and over. We probably hear it on a daily basis, but it is something that it is. You should be respectful, responsible, and involved your whole life. And so, and you're the only person that owns that. So thank you for sharing that. So,
If I had to rate it, I'd rate it at a 10 out of 10. From what I've heard from the other schools in our conference, we are very lucky with the opportunities that we have at our school, with the amount of students. It has given us lots of different variety of classes, and the staff here is just amazing. I'm grateful for all of the people that have helped me along the way, as well as just like the programs, like the academies that we have, and the sports, and even our theater groups, and just all the different clubs that we have. I'm just very grateful that we get to be a part of this community.
you bring up another question that I have. There are a lot of opportunities. Is there something that we're missing or something that you were like, wow, I wish they had had that. I would have been involved, so that we can think about, are there some other experiences or classes that academies, something like that, that we might need to provide to future students?
I do wish, I love the amount of medical classes that we have. I do wish that they hit a few other spots, like more animal sciences,
Okay.
as well as like you guys will both want to do like med tech, right? So maybe a class on like that area, or like in combination of our engineering and our medical classes as well. So it's not just, oh, very much math and very much medical, like just being able to integrate them a little bit more, I think.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
One of the things that I think could be added, which is already being added, which is great, having like the principal leadership council, being able to hear the opinions of students and things that we feel like could be worked on.
I would say the school is doing a good job with this already, making sure that all the students are, or with the counselor system, I'd say they're doing a good job with explaining the courses. But I feel like if there was like more of a student review of like, oh, say, because I think they do this for some classes, but not like for like the regular classes. I think they do it for like AP or honors. Having a review of the class, say if somebody was interested in enrolling in a course, but they didn't know how it was and they want to know from a student perspective, I think including that would be a lot more wiser, so that a student isn't taking a course that they're going to end up dropping 14.
That's a great recommendation. Would you also recommend that we bring that down into our middle schools? So as they're thinking about courses or opportunities, because as much as we want everybody to be involved in so many things, you can't take every course, right? So would you find that beneficial to giving that to some of our middle schoolers so they know ahead of time, and hearing it from students who've already taken those courses would be a good thing?
Yeah, for sure. Since like they're not as they don't know like exactly what they want to do, or some don't know exactly what they want to do. It would be really nice to have that.
Like we said at the beginning, you're more than a customer, but you are, right? Like it's our job. It's you're the number one customer in our school system. You're the reason that we're here. And oftentimes as adults, we sit around and we're talking about new experiences or things that might be challenges, and all the very best intentions. But we're not the ones that walk the walk every single day. And to hear from students is incredibly important about, how was this positive? What might you tweak on that? Where really are the concerns happening? Because again, you know all of the things that we don't know. And I very much applaud the high school. We're looking at how can we bring those down into our other levels as well to get that student voice across the board. One of the other things, too, that we've talked a lot about through hearing from our students, working with our staff and our community, is to provide more opportunities for students to have outside mentors in certain fields, internships, being able to job shadow and connect. And some of our courses have opportunities for that, but really to look at all of the potential careers that are out there and try to provide that experience for as many, if not all, students. Do you think that would be something that would be really beneficial?
I think so. Yeah.
I also think it would be a good thing, like just an experience for me. I remember when I applied for the medical academy, it was definitely an eye-opening experience, and from there on, I was able to bounce off to other things, like finding my job. I was able to, since I joined the swim team, I got an email from my swim coach saying like, hey, you guys are good swimmers, and this place is looking for lifeguards. So being able to like join clubs and academies and being able to use them to bounce off, I think is really good.
And you never know where a door may open. So you said it was from those experiences that you heard about this, and then a door opened and you were able to get that job. And I know we have goals and we think we want to go in certain directions. When those doors open or those connections and networking happen, it's great to try those, because you may never have known that that was a passion of yours if you hadn't gone down that road.
For sure. I would agree with Hannah on that one. I was able to find my job as a pharmacy tech because of the medical academy, and I'm so thankful because it's something that I love. It's not exactly what I want to do, but it gets me just one step closer, and I forever show appreciation. And for the internships, I would say if they were more specific, I know there's so many different medical careers that you can take along the path, but considering I want to go into neurology sometime soon, or 12 years later.
Soon enough.
PhD, yeah, soon enough. I would think, being able to, for those who are not in the medical academy, allowing that to be an option for those who just want to check it out would be pretty nice.
So now you all have joined the alumni club. You've graduated. You are a forever Red Raider. What advice do you have for future students, especially about thinking about middle school, high school? What advice do you have now that you've gone through the school system that you would want to leave with our future students?
Talking about how we have all these different opportunities in this community. Try as many possible things that you can, especially if you don't know what you want to do. Like freshman year, if you don't have to take that language class, try 2 polar opposite different things if you really don't know what you want to do. Just put yourself in a million clubs. You don't have to stick with all of them. I don't recommend you do stick with all of them, but just finding your niche and just finding a place in this school and not just going to classes and then going home.
Thank you.
Bouncing off of what Emily said, I agree. I remember freshman year, I was all over the board when it comes to classes. I was taking classes in like all different areas to figure out what do I really want to do and make sure that I spend the time that I have here that I'm grateful for very wisely, and being able to just join different clubs to find different experiences that, again, you probably would never have if you don't try, I think is really cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, I agree. There's just such a diverse amount of opportunities to have at the school. I would say, like Emily said, do it, give it a shot. You never know what you might find interesting later on in the future, and the things that you can learn or take with you with that.
Victor, Hannah, and Emily, thank you so much for sharing a little bit about you, letting our community and our viewers and listeners just get to hear about your experiences. They truly do help us as staff members to shape future experiences for our students and to get better at what we do day in and day out. So congratulations, best wishes on your next chapter. Please remember, you are forever a Red Raider. We hope that you come back and share the experiences and do the things, and know that we are here cheering you on for the next 4, 6, 12 years as you continue to your next path and journey. So again, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank
Thank you.
And thank you to the Huntley Area Public Library for again letting us use this beautiful recording studio. And thank you again for joining us for another Raider Roundtable. But as always, before signing off, here's a Huntley fun fact. Actually, an artifact. In 1917, here's the very first graduating class. 11 students graduated from Huntley in 1917. While such a small class, they sure were mighty. This year, the class of 2025 was 704 graduates strong. You met 3 of those incredible students today. Thank you for tuning into Huntley 158's Raider Roundtable, where it's all students always. Until next time.